I don't know, you're not gonna hold us up, are you? No, you're up, Mark. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman McDonald and council. So, Damon, you can come up. You got to get used to this because you'll be presenting these here shortly after you get comfortable. Tribal Lands has a couple issues today. It starts on your bid packet on page 2, but the issue paper is on page 3. There are going to be business lease information and requests, so I will turn it over to Tara so she can go over to answer any questions.
Good morning, everybody. Council
Good morning,
Chairman.
Tara.
Okay, so I have 3 issues, one starting on page 3 of your packet. This will be a filming request. Well, technically, they're not requesting really much anything, just more asking for permission. Right now they're doing a film in regards to a missing person at the Polson Airport. They did come in here, well, they didn't come here, but they asked for permission to use the airport about, was that a month ago? 2 months ago. This time what they're wanting to do is kind of the same thing, only they're going to be using a drone. And so they're just going to be only taking pictures of the airport. Not really so much the surrounding, but really just getting just the airport in general. There is 2 tribal pieces that are located on the corners of each of the airport, but where they're going to take the pictures and filming, it's not even going to be close to where, well, it'll be a little close, but not on our property. But still, they're just wanting to ask for permission from us because they just want to make sure they're in, good cahoots. They did talk with Lake County, the city of Polson. They did get permission from them. They all approved that. They're just waiting from you guys to make sure it was okay that they could take pictures of the airport.
Go ahead, Carol.
So is this a real body?
Is this a real body?
I mean, you said they were looking for a body.
No, this is actually a documentary on a missing person, or I don't know if it's a missing person or a vanished person. I'm not quite sure the logistics on that part, but you'll have to watch the movie. No, just
Is
kidding.
there actually somebody missing?
Yeah, from the airport. I don't know like I said, I don't know that part of that.
Why don't they use cadaver dogs or whatever?
No, I see where you're at. You're asking if there's a real missing
This is
person. No,
not-
this is just a film. Sorry,
It's a
no.
documentary
film. Sorry about that.
on a cold case from back in the 80s, I believe it is.
Yes, my God.
So,
It was attempted abduction or something.
Yeah, abduction, there we go.
so it's kind of different, but they wanted to be on the up and up with council just to see if they have permission to utilize the properties because that property, when they're using the drone, they will catch pictures of the backgrounds and that of tribal property. They just wanted to make sure that it was okay still with the tribal council to move forward with it.
Any other discussions? I thought first it was the big shootout we had out there at the airport years and years ago.
Ooh,
Where there
there's
was
a
a
shootout?
kidnapping. Yeah,
That may be what
It's
this
like,
is all
maybe
about.
it is, yeah.
yeah, it was a pretty big event there at the airport.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Can't wait to watch. No.
So it's a real life documentary film and they want background footage just for their narration story. Is there any other discussion? I would entertain a motion for approval or denial. Motion by Carol to approve the request. Second by Jennifer. All those in favor? Unanimous?
All right, thank you. Okay, moving along, the next issue is on page 4. This is a business lease request from Tammy Fargua to operate a Hawaiian shaped ice stand on the concession stand on Tribal Lot T4514. This is located in Polson. She has had that as a revocable permit for the last couple years. She does have the business lease that is the Flathead Raft Company. She has utilized that spot for probably the last like 10 years, maybe plus. But now she's wanting to enter into a business lease with her shaved ice. This shaved ice has employed a lot of the actually tribal youth. She's really wanting to promote them to help them during the summer programs and things like that. So what we're requesting is to approve a 5-year business lease with Tammy as long as all requirements for leasing are met, which is a rent of $150 a month, required insurance and required bond. The reason why we had that at the 150 is because during the summer months, actually on that specific property with her Flathead Raft company, she does pay an extra, I think for 2 or 3 months during the summer for extra parking in that area already. She's kind of a seasonal type business. She wants to try to keep it year round, but it's mostly seasonal. So that's why it's at 150, that lower rent.
Mike?
Hey, Mr. Chair. Is it used by anybody else in the other months?
Yes, we do have a little area where we have some of our smaller food trucks will come in. We're trying to move them over essentially to our other site. But if it's not utilized, yeah, she has no issues. We have no issues. She's pretty flexible with letting us put other businesses there.
Carol?
Yeah, I appreciate her knowing the policy that she needs to come in and request permission. So, Mr. Chair, I will make a motion that we authorize her permission to utilize that at the negotiated price. Additionally.
Anita?
I would second that, but I just had a quick question. Is she gonna keep the Flathead Raft? This is just a little separate on the
Yes.
side in the parking lot. business,
Yeah,
right?
it's 2 separate businesses. She's just wanting to set up a new one for this one.
Any other questions?
Did you accept the motion, Mr. Chair?
Motion by Carol to approve the business lease for the shaved ice, revocable permit?
Business lease,
Business lease. 5-year business lease.
yes.
Second by Anita. All those in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you. Let's see here. The next issue I have is on page 5 of your packet. This is a business lease request from Gene Marks, which is the JJ Dogs. This is a food takeout operated on Travel Track T4849 in Polson. It's right by the Ace's Hardware in Polson, that little hot dog stand. She has had the revocable permit for the last 3 years now, even made it through pandemic. She's now wanting to enter into a 5-year business lease instead of a revocable. She feels that she's established enough clientele to keep going. So she's requesting a 5-year business lease, as long as all requirements for leasing are met, which is a rent of $350 a month, required insurance, and a required bond.
Anita?
So I know that you go through and you look at market value. Would that increase at all, or is the 350 kind of?
350 has been pretty standard right now. Nothing's really increased, especially since her location is very, very minimal with very hard traffic and parking. It actually could have probably went down, but we kept it up.
And we'll also be doing the CPI adjustments also for most of these properties for the business leases
Right, but I don't think we did that.
after the end of the term.
Okay,
Before it expires out after the 5 years, we'll do another CPI to get another verification on them.
Go ahead, Anita.
So we haven't had any tribal members interested yet in this track?
no, not this tract. And I think, like I said, it's kind of a smaller tract. I don't know if you've been on that location. Like the parking's tough. We've had to work really diligently with Ace Hardware to let us even utilize that access. We got, approval of that. Gene had worked with us very well with that too. So it was a pretty big project.
Just one question on this, given the fact that it's a non-member.
Mhm.
Is your normal protocol to advertise it first for the membership before you enter into a new?
With this specific spot, we did advertise when it was originally first out there, and we never had anybody on that. We only had one person, and that was for fireworks stand. And at that point, he even said that wasn't a very good location. So because again, it's more of the parking, they were getting a lot of feedback from the Ace Hardware because of the traffic. But again, this JJ's been there for the last 3 years and established a good working relationship, business-wise, and just good neighbor, pretty much.
Yeah, I understand that, but is there a policy where you
No.
advertise?
No, there's not a policy. Nope.
No, when the property is vacant itself, we do advertise out to see if anybody is interested in the property. Since she is an established business on it right now, and she was doing the revocable permits with an option to renew or an option to go into a business lease in the future, this is why this one was not advertised. But if it was canceled or she did not want to return into a business lease or a revocable again, then we would put it out for advertisement for everybody to have a chance to bid on it.
Carol?
Yeah, I would like to see us develop that policy so it's clear. So if you've been on a lease like Dairy Queen for a while, and now they're descendants, should that be advertised? And we haven't advertised. I remember when Virgil Claremont came in and got the 25-year, and then of course he passed on, and it reverted to his son, who is a tribal member, I believe. And then now his kids run it, and they're descendants. So I think we need to make it clear, so when people do come in and invest money into a property, that are they going to be able to get a 5-year lease without it being advertised? Because I don't know if they would consider even going down this road if that was the case. So I think we need to make our policy clear, so we aren't putting people into a situation where we shouldn't be, or I know it's our right, but still, I mean, there's invested money in that, and that could come back to bite us.
Okay, no, good point there. We took note of it. It actually will fit right into our property management that we've been working on and coming up with a plan on how the property management team will actually be able to look into these to make sure that all of these small little policies or anything like this can be changed and updated at a regular base and being followed. So thank you.
Any further discussion on the request for a 5-year business lease on track T 4849 for the JJ Dogs? Anita?
I would make that motion, but I would like it stipulated that it would be advertised the next time it comes around. Just so the tribal members know. In the meantime, they can work on the policy, but like Carol mentioned.
Motion by Anita to approve the business lease with the stipulation that during the term of this contract, the policy will be revisited and it will be advertised next time. Is there a second? Second by Ellie. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, so she said advertise next time, but if they bring in a policy and we say, no, we're not going to advertise if they've been there for a while, then do we still advertise in this particular situation, or do we follow the policy? I'm not clear.
Well, in the business lease, what I could,
I think so it's on the motion that Anita put that in there.
Well, I was saying that at the end of 5 years, of course, if the policy's already enacted, we'd go by policy.
Okay,
But I just want to see it advertised that a tribal member did want to start something, that's an opportunity.
exactly, Mr. Chair. And Anita, that's, if the policy says we advertise every time, then that's clear. I mean, I'm not pushing for a non-tribal member. What I'm saying, let's make the policy clear so when they come in, they're not investing in money into something that in a year or 2 years, it's going to have to be advertised. I mean, I don't think I would go down that road if I knew that policy was clear to me. So,
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Ellie.
maybe just clarifying the motion to say it will be reviewed against existing policy at the end of the 5-year contract
Yeah,
related to,
I could go
Any
with that,
advertising
as
changes?
long as it's reviewed, yeah.
Okay, amended motion to at the end of the 5 years, it would be under whatever the current policy would be for renewal or advertisement based on the policy at that time. Second by Alex. All those in favor? Unanimous?
Okay, thank you. I got it all situated. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tara.
Yeah,
Clear as mud, yes.
I need all.
so,
We had to push through that.
yes, we did. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Council. Is there any other questions for tribal lands before we leave?
I guess the one question on this policy, so I'm not clear because I haven't read your, the draft lands ordinance. Is this, in your lands ordinance, is this topic included in that?
It is not, and it, never phrase that. There is a business leasing part in there that does address on what types of business leases and that the ordinance will discuss. This policy would be something that would be falling underneath that land ordinance, just like the property management, if that goes anywhere, when we bring it back into with the draft property management plan to council. That policy for that will be falling underneath there too. We'll have to do amendments maybe, or it'll be just an external policy to the land ordinance. But we do discuss revocable permits itself, how you have to do a business lease. So the priority wise for advertising, for revocables and all that is in there, but it doesn't state that, you know, it does advertise after every 5 years. It doesn't do this. And since it is still almost in the final version, I do have a meeting with legal today. I will bring that up to see if we need to add that in there. Just to cover the policy stipulation that Carol brought up and Councilwoman Matt brought up too. So
Thank you, Mark. I just want to make sure like it's evident, what you're saying is a tear down document that this would be, we're talking about today, under the lands ordinance. But yeah, if there's some other word tweaking that you need to do in your current draft, then please do. Yes. All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Another spot that should probably be talked about is in the commercial code that they're talking about writing, the uniform commercial code, something like this business.
Yeah, the UCC.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Point, Mike. Thank you. Anything else for lands? Oh, we have them before us. If not, go out there, banditos. Have at it.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Velda and Janet for economic development.
Kisa Kwishnam, Ituum Nasuking. I said, good morning, my 10 chiefs. Mr. Chairman, this morning we're going to begin with the annexation situation that has arisen with the properties at Polson West, and specifically looking at the prospective development for a new casino on some of those properties. So Janet and Gaming, Brian Miller have been meeting, well, Brian Upton as well, have been meeting with the city of Polson. And so today they're at the point where we need to start, we would like to embark on the annexation process. So Janet, I'll turn it over to you if you want to present the letter.
Thank you, Velda.
Thank you.
So we met with council in December, and actually we met with council last year, 2 or 3 times to talk about different scenarios for this project. And this is for the 79 acres that are across from the former Diamond Horseshoe and the 3 lakeshore lots, next to the former Ronald McDonald home. And so what council wanted us to do last year was to look at a site for the casino on that 79 acre property west of the highway.
Janet,
yes.
can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes,
We may just go ahead and go into executive session for this dialogue if we could.
yes.
That concurrence with council. So, okay.